There are chapters in all of our stories that are sad or disappointing, others that are exciting and full of adventure. Matt and Sarah's love story began by faith with an interview. And during that interview, neither Sarah nor Matt knew what was in store for them. Neither of them knew that an interview for a job that Sarah didn't really want and a recommendation from Matt not to hire her would be the beginning of their love story. But fate took a hold of them, and luckily, Sarah was hired anyway. And that brings them here. Time to pause, look back, and smile at all the moments that brought them here, and a time to look ahead to all the moments still to come. I'm here, we're all here, because we want those moments for you. We're here to hope with you, to support you, and to remind you that love isn't always happily ever after. Love is experience of writing your story. It's not one moment, not even this moment. It's every moment. The big ones like saying I love you, having your daughters, getting engaged, but mostly a million little ones that come in between the big moments. Falling asleep next to one another, making dinner, slow dancing in the kitchen to KC and JoJo, drinking beers on the patio, getting big hugs when you come home from work. These everyday moments fuse together into one big experience. And even though this experience is so incredible, words fail us when we try to explain it. That's just the way love is. It's meant to be felt, not described. But trying to describe love is one of our favorite pastimes. We use the words we have to write stories, poems, and songs about love. And even though we describe love in different ways, and even though love can look different from one person to the next, we all know it when we see it. And we see it here. Jordan will now read a compilation from a famous love story that the couple is too embarrassed to cite, but fits their love perfectly.
Every great love starts with a great story. I can remember every moment we were together when we first met, and in each of those moments, there was something wonderful. I can't really pick any one time that meant more than any other. The entire summer was perfect, the kind of summer everyone should have. How could I pick one moment over another? Poets often describe love as an emotion that we can't control, one that overwhelms logic and common sense. That's what it was like for me. I didn't plan on falling in love with you, and I doubt if you planned on falling in love with me. But once we met, it was clear that neither of us could control what was happening to us. We fell in love, despite our differences, and once we did, something rare and beautiful was created. For me, love like that has happened only once, and that's why every minute we have spent together has been seared in my memory. I'll never forget a single moment of it. I love you. I am who I am because of you. You are every reason, every hope, and every dream I've ever had. And no matter what happens to us in the future, every day we are together is the greatest day of my life. I will always be yours, and my darling, you will always be mine. You are the answer to every prayer I've offered. You are a song, a dream, a whisper. And I don't know how I could have lived without you for as long as I have. Maybe we've lived 1,000 lives before this one, and in each of them we found each other. I know I've spent each life before this one searching for you. Not someone like you, but you. For your soul and mine must always come together.
Thank you, Jordan. You fell in love by chance, but you're here today because you're making a choice. You both are choosing each other. You've chosen to be with someone who enhances you, who makes you think, makes you smile, and makes every day brighter. Before we begin, Sarah and Matt have written vows to each other that they would like to share with everyone. Matt, you may begin.
Sarah, you're my best friend. Today I officially give myself to you. Using our love to guide us through pressures and uncertainty, I promise to you that you will always have my deepest love, my fullest devotion, and my most tender care. I promise to try to always encourage you and inspire you, to laugh with you and comfort you in times of sadness. I promise to love you in the good times and in the bad times, when life is easy and when it's not, when it's simple and when it's complicated. And I promise to always honor you and hold our love in the highest regard. I pledge this to you today and forever always. I love you.
Mine are not that good. By the way, you wrote yours last night. So did I. Matt, I have literally waited for this moment from the first time we stayed up all night talking. Since that night, you have given me more than I ever could have imagined, and I love you endlessly for that. From this day forward, I promise that I will be a better Buckeye fan. I promise I'll listen, truly listen, when you talk about sports status. I vow the first day the kids move out of the house that I'll play kickball with you in each of their rooms. I promise that I will always be your best friend. Remind you that you are the greatest man that I have ever known and will ever know. And whenever you forget, I'll always be the girl that you fell in love with, no matter what. Matt, I vow to help you love life, to always hold you with tenderness, and to have the patience that love demands, to speak to you when words are needed, and to share the silence when they're not, and to live in the warmth of your heart and always call it home. I love you.
You've known each other from the first glance of acquaintance to this point of commitment. At some point you decide to marry. And from that moment of yes to this moment of yes, indeed, you have been making commitments in an informal way. All those conversations that were held in a car, or over a meal, or during long walks. All those conversations that begin with, when we're married, and continue with, I will, you will, and we will. All those late night talks that include someday, somehow, and maybe. All those promises that are unspoken matters of the heart. All these common things and more are the real process of a wedding. The symbolic vows you're about to make are a way of saying to one another, you know all these things that we've promised and hoped and dreamed. Well, I meant it all, every word. Look at one another and remember this moment in time. Before this moment, you've been many things to one another. Acquaintance, friend, companion, lover, dancing partner, even teacher. For you have learned much from one another these past few years. Shortly you will say a few words that will take you across the threshold of life, and things between you will never quite be the same. For after this day, you shall say to the world, this is my husband, this is my wife. You're about to make promises to each other that you intend to keep. You're going to vow to take care of each other, to stand up for one another, to find happiness in each other. There's a simple premise to each of these promises. You're vowing to be there. You're teaming up and saying to the other, every experience I'm going to have, I want you to be a part of. Matt, will you please take this ring that symbolizes the eternal commitment to one another and place it on Sarah's hand?
Oh, they won't. Yeah.
Will you, Matt, keep Sarah as your favorite person, to laugh with her, go on adventures with her, support her through life's tough moments, be proud of her, grow old with her, and find new reasons to love her every day?
I will.
Sarah, will you please take this ring that symbolizes your eternal commitment to one another and place it on Matt's hand? Matt, will you keep Sarah, oh no, will you, Sarah, Matt is your favorite person, to laugh with him, go on adventures with him, support him through life's moments, be proud of him, grow old with him, find new reasons to love him every day?
I will.
Will you, Matt and Sarah, be each other's partners from this day forward? Will you bring out the best in one another? Share your happiest moments together and love each other absolutely for the rest of this lifetime, for what may come next?
We will.
As you look upon these rings over the years, I hope you remember that you created something invaluable. Love stories start from humble beginnings, and through the combination of serendipity and effort, imperfect beings shape into something extraordinary. It's the process of making something beautiful where there was once nothing at all. And just as you know you'll protect these rings, I'm confident that you'll protect these commitments you've made to one another here today. And finally, you may begin your marriage how you began your relationship, with a series of drinks, good memories, laughter, and of course, a kiss. By the powers vested in me by the state of Ohio, before God and all these people, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Thank you very much.